Hi, everyone. Kathleen Byars here with Corporate Women Unleashed. We work with high achieving women, executive women, women leaders, and really show you how to avoid burnout, create balance in your life, and lean into your career without having to giving up all your personal life and sacrificing the things, the goodness in life to enjoy the fruits of your labor. So I'm excited about our broadcast today. First of all, I've been traveling and I was not able to do the last couple of broadcasts, partly because I was traveling, but really because I was sick. So I came down with, I don't know, something going on and I was hoarse. So I apologize for missing the last couple of broadcasts. So this is the one we had scheduled a week ago, and it's whether or not you feel like you're in an executive midlife crisis. So I would love, love, love for those of you who are watching this, whether you're here live with us today or watching this in recording form, if you're on Facebook, YouTube, whatever channel you're watching this from, it's just, if you've ever felt like, is this all there is? Like, is there something I'm missing? And you've gotten to a point where you feel like life should be really, really successful, but instead you're just seeing like little snippets of it. And that maybe you should step back, maybe you should take a sabbatical or any of those types of things. And you're like, am I having a midlife crisis? Just type a 1 in the comments. And the reason I'm asking you to do that is not to expose yourself to the world, because I know we're all very private corporate women. But we need to understand how common this is. And that's the first thing I want to share with you, is that feeling like you're having a midlife crisis is very, very common, especially among high achieving women. And high achieving and high achievers in general will have this crisis much sooner in life than your 50s. So you might be 30 having it. You might be 35. You might be 42. You may be 50. That's fine. But that sort of stereotypical, we have a midlife crisis in our 50s happens much sooner to high achievers because we tend to burn ourselves out much, much quicker than the general population. Okay. So what is this crisis about, right? What's really happening? And I will tell you, if there's one thing I hear over and over again, and our team hears, when we're on the call, when we're on the phone with women and in our clients, is everyone will tell us, I feel like I'm having a midlife crisis. What's wrong with me? I should be so grateful and so happy for what I have. But instead, I'm feeling like I just want to rest. I just need a break. I just need to stop the crazy train, right? So if you think that too, again, put a little 1 in the comments, because I think other people can appreciate how many of us actually feel that way. I went through that in my early 30s. I had started working at the age of 11. Just because that was sort of the way our family culture was. Like, if you wanted something, you had to earn it. So I had really been working and earning from a very young age. So by the time I got to 32, 33, it had already been like 20 years of me always in this sort of mode of having to work and having, no rest, no rest for the wicked type of a thing. But here's what we know. All work and no play makes Jane a dull girl. And that is really what's happening at this point in your career. So if you think about it, the only story that we give ourselves, or we hear as kids, and that we give our children in our society, is if you work really hard, someday you'll get whatever it is, the golden apple, right? You'll get the successful life. So you have worked really, 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 really hard. You put your nose to the grindstone. Anytime someone needs something, yep, I'll sign up for that assignment. You worked hard through college. You worked hard getting your first job. You worked hard in being the hardest worker, on your floor when you got that first job so you could get a promotion. And then you worked hard proving yourself at this promotion. And we have all this language and these beliefs and our culture that we have to work really, really, really hard to deserve happiness, which is ridiculous, because in reality, when happiness is put first, and I don't call it happiness because I think happiness is more of a fleeting emotion. I'm happy when my husband, uncorks a bottle of wine for me one night or something like, oh, that was so nice that you did that. But it's really about well-being, contentment, getting out of bed every day and feeling like just contentment with the life you have. Creating that state for ourselves is not something we're trained to do ever. Right? Ever in our culture. When did someone say to you when you were 6 years old, how are you going to live a really contented life? No. How did someone say, how are you going to be a multidimensional woman? How are you going to really create a life where you get to do all these wonderful things that you love and have amazing relationships and experiences and create enough abundance and wealth for yourself so you can do those things? Nobody said that to you. They said, what are you going to do to get a job? How are you going to make money? How How are you going to be a success? And everything you did, whether it was bringing home an A on your report card or, you know, getting into a certain college or whatever you did, you were applauded for what you did as a marker of success. But nobody ever said to you, wow, you know what? I saw you this afternoon go out and lay in the hammock and really lean in to some solo time for yourself. That was amazing how you carved out time for yourself and you really sat out there and thought, and you were alone with your thoughts and gave yourself some incredible leisure time and autonomy. Good for you. No, we never say that, right? We say, are you laying down in a hammock all afternoon? I can't believe it. There's like all this stuff that you should be doing. So when we come from a culture where everything's all about productivity, it's no wonder that by the time you get to your 40s or 50s or 30s, like I was, that we burn out because we do not know how to create well-being for ourselves. Okay. So part of the midlife crisis, what should I do with my life, really has to start with recognizing that the very first step is to start putting some time into you and creating some space for yourself, giving yourself permission to have leisure. I don't care if you have 10 children under the age of 3, or, you know, you are flying all over the world because you are the, top contributor in your company for all of these negotiations that are going on. Absolutely. You have to learn how to optimize your well-being, because if not, what happens is you're putting so much time and effort into meeting one or two needs, which is like security, your job, and ego, which is esteem. All of your effort goes into that at some point, because all of your other needs are being met at a much, much lower level. You're sacrificing health, you're sacrificing relationships, you're sacrificing freedom and autonomy, you're sacrificing your leisure time, that you become burned out and you start going, what is this all for? I must be having a midlife crisis. And you're really not. A lot of women we work with, what they discover that it's not their job, it is not their career, it's not their audacious position. It is the amount of control they are giving over to their career, whether it's requested by their employer or whether it's implied or whether it's just upstairs here. And we think we have to be acting in certain ways. One of the coolest transformations that happens to almost everyone who comes through our program is that they come in thinking, I'm going to have to change my job. And it's all this external stuff. It's my boss, it's my company, it's my leadership team, it's my junior team, it's this client, it's all this other stuff, right? And what they learn is that a lot of it they are creating in the way they show up in their career, right? Because you have to work hard, and that's where your value comes from. And that's what you have to do to keep that job. And if you don't keep that job, you're going to lose that job. And if you lose that job, you lose your paycheck and your lifestyle and all these things, right? So the very first thing you have to understand is that 9 times out of 10, you're not having a midlife crisis in the sense of pull the ripcord and, go to pottery classes or something. It's not about shifting from this thing that you are so audaciously skilled at to doing something completely different. It's about learning how to optimize your well-being so that whether the career and the job and the specific role you're in is great for you right now or not, you understand how to control that environment and create massive amounts of well-being for yourself. Okay. Now, once you do that, now we have a clear playing field to look out, right? The glasses, the fog on the glasses has been shifted. And now you can start looking forward at like, okay, now that I'm feeling like I have some sanity back in my life and I have some essence of well-being, now you can make a decision of whether or not you are going through a midlife crisis. Are you a round peg trying to fit into a square hole at your organization or not? Is there something that's really calling on your heart that you would love to do? And do you need to quit your job to do it? Or is it something that you could be doing every day as a part of your life once you learn how to control that audacious career? We have a lot of women who do that. They're like, oh, I've always wanted to be a writer. I've always wanted to work in I miss my art studio. I used to be an artist and I used to do more of that. And that was my outlet. Or I used to be a runner and all these things. And it's like, well, those don't have to be oil and water. Those can coexist with a really demanding career, but not until you've optimized your well-being. Okay. Once you've optimized your well-being, then you can start putting on those glasses and sort of like dialing in the binoculars, and kind of taking that more intense look at your life and saying, am I actually operating in a company or in a role that isn't fulfilling to me? Is this about fulfillment, or is it how I'm approaching this role that is creating a situation where I can't go enjoy the rest of my life? Because if it's how you're approaching your role and that's what's stopping you from enjoying all the other aspects of your life, well, then you should need to approach your role differently, right? That's not a midlife crisis. That's you showing up differently. And this is so key. Like really, really, really lean in and understand this, because what happens is how we've learned to work through school and through graduating college and getting that first job. We are bringing that style of work up into the executive ranks. And we're, especially women, because we have imposter syndrome and we're trying to cling to that proverbial table and all this stuff. And so what's happening so often is that we are continuing to work in this. I have to prove myself. I have to show everybody what I'm capable of. I have to. I mean, the shoulds and the have tos that we hear from our clients, is a mile long. You don't should to have to anything. You need to understand the environment you're operating in. You need to understand what other people around you are really saying. And you need to show up in a way that allows you to influence that. That's it. Right. And this is different. And men do this so much different than we do. They kind of do it more, not always, but they tend to do it more intuitively. They make that shift. They're much more comfortable making that shift than we are. We kind of stay stuck in this, like Sally has to prove her place at the table. And so what happens is your quality of life just diminishes, because there's no way to continue to operate in that way at this level with everything that now your role encompasses. It's really not. It's just not healthy. And so what happens is you come to work in a diminished state. You're making decisions that are far less effective. You're showing up and you're actually creating the environment that you're trying to escape from, because everyone's just going to react to you. The way you show up is how everyone reacts to. I can't tell you how many women that we work with who do not know how to lead a team. And so their team is just very comfortable with allowing them to do the bulk of the workload, the bulk of the thinking, the bulk of the problem solving. And so it's almost just sort of like these negative spirals that we get in because we don't know how to change ourselves. And so we're just busy sort of like, one of my clients called it playing whack-a-mole, or I think of it like, there's a brick wall and there's like water coming through and it's seeping. And so now we're at the executive level and we're putting spit all over the brick wall, trying to stop the water from coming through. And then finally we're like, oh, I must be having a midlife crisis. I just need to go, start a pottery company, because I'm just going to go do pottery in my garage for the rest of my life because I just can't do this anymore. And that's just not it at all, right? It's learning to work differently. It's changing your belief system about what's possible. But in order to do that, you've got to get yourself to a level of well-being where even if you're on airplanes for, a lot of women we work with are traveling all the time, for 70, 80 hours a week. I just got back from a 2-week trip where I had, my family had needs. I was working with different colleagues. I was on a business trip, combo vacation, you're on airplanes, like all that stuff. And throughout the entire time, I had to shift how I took care of my well-being, because my well-being and how I take care of myself and keep my cup full is going to be different when I'm traveling. It's going to be different when I have my family in a vacation home and we don't have our normal stuff around us, when I'm having to show up in hotel rooms with colleagues and create presentations and speak up and all these different things. Like that's going to be different than when I'm in my home environment where I'm normally used to working and things, right? So you have to know how to optimize your well-being. Then when you get into that state, again, you can start looking more objectively at how your career really fits into your needs at this level in your life. And again, 90% of the time, what we find is that your career is just fine. It's how you're showing up in your career. And you need to start rescoping how you show up in your career once you've got a higher level of well-being and you've learned, really to sort of lean away from that psychology or that mindset that says you've got to work hard, improve yourself, and just recognize that you're valuable. I mean, that's why you're at the level you're at. That's why you're a high achiever. That's why you're a successful woman. Exceptional women don't have to prove anything. Well, none of us should have to prove anything, but certainly someone who's working in an exceptional career and someone who brings exceptional prowess to their career, it's not about proving yourself anymore. Okay. It's learning how to show up with more effectiveness as an influencer. So the first step, and I guess the true message that I want to leave with you guys today is that feeling like you're having a midlife crisis is very normal. A lot of women feel like they're having a midlife crisis, and that's okay. You're not, but there is something you can do about it. And it does not have to be a sabbatical. It does not have to be pulling the ripcord on your career. It does not have to be leaving the world that you know, if that's the world that you love. You can be burned out. You can be tired of it. You can feel like there's no way I can get myself out of bed every morning. And that's pretty normal. But again, it's because you're spending so much time only meeting a couple of your needs the rest of your needs are going unmet. And biologically and psychologically, you cannot keep that up over time. Okay? You can't. And you've been doing it for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, 30 years, and you're wearing yourself out. So it's not about a new environment. And you guys, if any of you have been around and listened to some of my broadcasts, I move myself from, the busy, corporate, hectic, high-performing world in Dallas, Texas, to an island. How much easier could that be? It's an island. And I still didn't find fulfillment. I still felt like I was having a midlife crisis. And it was because, guess what? I took me with me. I took my high achieving self with me to the island. And so it was the high achiever in me. I had to learn how to achieve through possibility by being an influencer, by being effective. I had to change the way I thought and the way I played the game. That's what made my life abundant and me able, and this is what we teach our clients, here's how you can have your cake and eat it too, right? It doesn't have to be a trade-off. It doesn't have to be that. But if you think it does, it will be. But when you start shifting that belief, now you see that there's all these possibilities. So again, really focus on the fact that your needs aren't getting met. Start getting those needs met, right? Don't sacrifice these needs for these needs. Just start getting your needs met. Just start filling up the bowl of water. It's not a bunch of little buckets that you got to run in and out of. Fill up that bowl of water, that basket of needs, and you're going to start to feel more abundant and grateful and amazed at the life you have now. And then from that space, you can go out and sort of survey what's around you and say, is this really a midlife crisis? Or do I need to start evolving who I am so that I can start enjoying this abundance I've created? I can start enjoying the success that's around me. Maybe I need to change, or maybe not. Maybe you truly are in a toxic environment, and for some reason you feel like you need to be there, right? Most what we find is that you can navigate those environments far more effectively than you think. It's usually not just the environment. We work with women in all sorts of different environments. None of them have a family-friendly work-life balance environment. They're all in positions that have too much, that have such grave responsibility and such huge weight on their shoulders that there's just no such thing. So they have to create it, right? They have to create the flexibility. They have to create the lifestyle they want. They have to create the environment they want and take control back over their career, right? And when you do that, midlife crisis goes away, and now you can have fun and start making decisions from a place of possibility. Maybe you do want a new job. That's cool. Maybe you've always wanted to be, an airline pilot. I don't know. Great. Go do that. Like, that's exciting, right? But maybe not. Maybe it's just how you're approaching things. And so again, get your needs met effectively, pour time and energy into yourself. And then from there, you can make decisions with more clarity. So thank you guys for showing up today for this broadcast. And sorry, it's been so long in coming. I want to invite any high achieving woman who is struggling with this burnout and with this sense of, no matter where I go, this seems to follow me and I don't seem to be able to get the fulfillment and joy out of my life. I want to invite you onto a call with our team, right? Now, this isn't for everyone. We do these calls. We work with the women who are executives, high achievers, women in leadership positions. You don't have to be in the C-suite. We've got senior managers, directors, but you're kind of wired as an achiever. You know that you're an overachiever, you're a type A, those kind of things sort of resonate with you. Or you're new in a leadership position that is really powerful. And it's like, I've got to navigate this differently, or I'm going to, I'm not going to succeed. You know that you need new tools. That's who I want to invite onto a call with our team, because we want to work with you. And on a 45-minute call, we're going to have fun. We're going to sit down and talk about your career. We're going to talk about where you're at. We're going to see kind of what your history is. And we'll just help you develop a game plan. And we're going to get you some clarity on what's going on and what's possible for you. Okay. If working with us and being a part of what we do is a possibility, we'll tell you. And if not, we're going to suggest some other resources. But again, guys, we're here to make sure that no woman believes that she has to sacrifice her happiness and herself for an amazing career. You can have a highly successful career and be happy and content and really enjoy your personal life at the same time. They are not mutually exclusive. All right. So it's been great broadcasting here today. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. Tag someone else in the comments. There's another woman out here. Maybe you don't need this broadcast, and that's cool. Tag someone else who does. There's someone else out here who needs to hear this. And let's pay it forward. Bye, guys. It's been great talking with you.